Well, I'm going to introduce this as,
Okay.
and we're talking to Mr. Greenlee, Mr. Young, and Mr. Flowers.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And so what we want to do is to start off, and this is a 30-minute show.
Okay.
First part is 6 minutes. That's the first segment. And the second, and we'll have that first segment, 6 minutes, background education experience, which is to say that we'll get that kind of general information from the three of you. You know, you'll take about 2 minutes to give who you are, 2 minutes as to who you are,
Okay.
and 2 minutes as to who you are. And that should be that first segment, you see. And then we'll have a commercial break. Then we'll have a commercial break for 2 minutes. And then we'll come back with a second segment of 8 minutes, you see. And this is where we'll get into the topic, the broken generation. Since this is Ms. Greenlee's title, we're going to let her start off by explaining what she meant, what she means by the broken generation. And then that will be that second segment. We'll go from 1, 2, 3, and that kind of.
Okay.
And then we'll have that 8 minutes, and then we'll come back with 10 minutes, and then we'll start picking up on that. But sort of, this is the fourth show for me. I've been doing this since years. What we want to try to do is to make sure that we feed off one another, which is to say that if she has some information, et cetera, dealing with the broken generation, we're going to start with you, with the broken generation, and I want you to explain to me why you brought these folks here with us and make some statements in reference to that. That'll give
30 minutes.
That'll give you an opportunity, me an opportunity to start with you, and you can talk, and then but you'll be talking about them, and then after you get through explaining them, then I'll go to one of them, and that but from that we'll alternate between them, so you shouldn't have any problems. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Can we have you say your name and count to 10? Just look towards Dr. Haney while you do it.
Okay. Willie Young.
You got to speak up, Mr. Young.
Okay. Willie Young.
Yeah, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you want me to count out loud?
Yeah.
I was counting myself. Okay.
Yeah, no,
right.
just talk so that.
Yeah.
So we get a level.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can all
Yes,
see.
Willie Young.
Speak
1,
up.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Okay.
8, 9, 10.
Okay, Mr.
VFlowers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good.
CGreenlee 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, is that right? Are we ready? Okay.
Okay, so when we start, we're looking at you.
Yeah, I'm just looking at me. And and I want you to explain the title. When we start off, I'll introduce the title, and you want to call this "Broken Generation." That might be a title that's not familiar to many people about what we mean when we talk about broken generation, and so we want you to explain what we mean by broken generation and the individuals that you have with you this morning. Okay. All right. God is good. Yes, He is. Thank God. And we're so appreciative of all of you for coming by and helping move this thing forward.
Well, I appreciate you, Dr.
You
You always help me stay out here.
Yeah, you bring such information. Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is broken generation. And we have with us to talk about the broken generation, Ms. Greenlee, Mr. Young, and Mr. Flowers. Three individuals who have quite a bit of information dealing with this new idea of a broken generation. And let me, Ms. Greenlee, not only welcome you with Mr. Young and Mr. Flowers, but let's have you to give us some information for the sake of the audience, some information in reference to your background, your education, and some of your experiences. And in the meantime, introduce these two individuals to me and to tell me why they are with you today.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Dr. Haney. Again, thank you for having me on your show. Again, my name's Greenlee. I'm the founder of Nashville Peacemakers Stop the Violence Campaign, and I'm also a community advocate. I want to talk about broken generation because it's in my mind is that we don't talk enough about our young men, our young black men that's being not only lost out here, but why they are broken. And I brought Mr. Young here with me and Mr. Flowers because they are young black men, and they do a lot in the community to impact society themselves. And I would like for them to just gear in on why they think that this generation is broken and not lost.
Very good. Now, let's have you, Mr. Young, give us a little information in reference to your background, and which will be followed by Mr. Flowers.
My name is Willie Young. Everybody knows me as Chill Will, party promoter, concert promoter. And I've been working with kids since I've been in Nashville. I'm originally from Memphis. I went to Tennessee State, played baseball, and pledged Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And, you know, all my life here in Nashville, I've always had a passion to help and work with people. And that's, you know, that's what I've been doing, you know, since I've been in Nashville. And that's something I definitely love dearly.
Very good. Mr. Flowers?
Yes, my name is Vic Flowers. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. And basically, what I do in the community, I do different outreaches. I do outreach through music as well, and try to connect with other organizations to do outreach as well. From one of the organizations like Youth for Christ and the Eye of a Future program and things like that.
And so both of you are deeply involved, as is Ms. Greenlee, in reference to, let's start us off, Ms. Greenlee, dealing with broken generations. We've got about 2 minutes before we end this first segment. Let's talk about this broken generation.
But the broken generation with me is a lack of communication with our young people. It's a lack of education, and it's also a lack of finance. But more than anything, it's a lack of binding our communities together. We so quick to just pour in the negative of why our young generation is lost or broken, but we don't have too many structures to be coming in to help us, you know, put things together to get everything back on track. So this is why I want to just come and just talk about mostly the lost generation and the broken generation.
What do you see, Mr. Young, as some of the real problems with our young men today?
Well, Clemmy, she expounded on two, income and education, but to me, you also need that family structure. You know, a lot of our kids are not growing up with two-parent families. They growing up with just a mom being the mom and the dad, and that's like a strain on the whole entire family.
And so in real sense, you see that as one of the real reasons that we have. What about you, Mr. Flowers, in terms of looking at some of the issues, some of the problems that our young African-American men have this day?
The major problem that I see in our generation today is we're missing the father. We're missing the man in the home. If we can reconnect that, or we can get men to step up and be like big brothers and big sisters. I heard of their program, and that's some things that they do, and such as, like I told you yourself, about the Eye of a Future program. That's one of those mentoring programs over the years that helped me, and they got programs that's developing now today that's trying to reach out and really grab these young men by the hand and disciple them.
And so you see this as one of the issues. That
yes, that's one of the major issues. That's a major issue in our community today.
And Ms. Greenlee, oftentimes we talk about the absence of young men in terms of fathers, in terms of a father figure. And would you consider that to be part of the broken generation, the absence of fathers?
Well, of course, that's number one big problem. But the main problem with me is like I said, lack of funds. Because a lot of fathers are already dead, a lot of fathers are already incarcerated. But you got other fathers out here that are willing to pick up and pitch in, but they don't have the finance or the means to do so. So I'm asking is why we can't be financed ourselves so we can do our own mentoring out of our own houses and out of our own communities.
Very good. And of course, what we'll do, we'll take our first commercial break, and then we'll come back for the second segment, and we'll be back with you following this very, very short commercial break. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Ms. Greenlee, Mr. Young, and Mr. Flowers, and we're dealing with the issue of the broken generation. Now, Ms. Greenlee has given us excellent information in reference to what she believes constitutes the broken generation, primarily young African-American males who really don't have much of an opportunity in a real sense, dealing with education and other aspects in order to live the good life that is promised by all living in America in a real sense. And so I think that from that perspective, let's speak to that, Ms. Greenlee.
Well, you know, Dr. Haney, for a long time I've been talking about how we have to help our black boys get back into society. And I'm not just talking about a handout. I know people always holler, well, they got to want it. And I've been around a lot of them that want it, and we've been around a lot that don't. So you don't focus on that. You focus on those who want it. My hardest part I have with the young black men is when I done seen them go through school and I done went to their graduation and they still call me on the phone filling out an application at McDonald's or Crystal somewhere and asking me to help them spell this word or figure out this sentence. So I want to bring it back to we are being, number one, rushed through the school system. Number two, we're not being taught and educated like we're supposed to be because the lack of patience that a lot of people have for us. So I want to come back to the grassroots community, the grassroots homes, and really just gravitate and teach our youth. We could talk about everything from school, from the Bible to all the above, but if you just really not gravitating and reaching them, then this point is just ruthless. So I think, you know, we start accumulating our own monies and we start accumulating what we believe belong to us, and then we reach out there and get our us's, then we'll see a totally different thing. I've been here for almost 15 years, and I have not one time been granted a federal grant. Now, do I want it? No, I do not, because it's going to tell me what I need and need not to do. But it's also some local community grants out here and some elected officials and some other powered people that know what I do should already want to pour funds into me for me to continue my work. This is why these two young men are very valuable to me, to talk about more on their level or what do they see and what helped them.
If you look at that from that perspective, Mr. Young, what are some of the really must needs that you believe people in your generation have? I mean, what do you have to have? You understand that there's a high incarceration rate, there's unemployment, and there are many other things, but from your perspective, what do we need? What do they need?
First, education.
First, second, first, good.
And then wealth. Because I can reflect back to the last 15 years that I've established